Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. I know it's been a little while since I've been live, so hi. How are you? Before I start the topic of the video, I wanted to share something with you guys. So, a young lady by the name of Imani, she sent me a wonderful little package from Vivrant Vague, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. So this is from Vivrant Vague. I do have the details in the description bar. Just want to see what she sent me. Ooh. So gather in, hit the like button. Okay. Ooh. Rings. Okay. So here is one of the rings. It looks like a copper serpent. Let me take this one off so I can show you guys what it looks like. So this looks like a precious stone. It's like a carnelian, I believe, or some type of pink radiant. I think oh, here's the other one. This one is gold with these little pink beads. And she also has other jewelry on her store. So I will also show you like a little preview of her shop. Oh, this one is really pretty. It's blue beads. And I put it on this one so y'all can see that. Isn't it pretty? And then there's a green one. Let me just take it off. That's that. I'm going to leave this one on because it matches my outfit today. So I got on the green. So, yes, she sent me these serpent rings, and I love how they're made. I think they're adjustable as well. So I'm going to show you guys her website. She also sells like different types of necklaces, and this is what her site looks like. Isn't it pretty? Sparkly. Okay, so she sells all types of spiritual jewelry. So you can, there are the rings that I have. So y'all go check out her shop and support her. Earrings, I see there's anklets, chains, gemstones, crystals, handmade necklaces. So it's just a really nice shop if you want some pretty jewelry that also reflects your spiritual, side. So, yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to find something so I can show you guys. Okay, so there's more. I like this one right here, that little ankh, but I'll probably get it in the gold color. So yeah, y'all go check her out. Her shop is linked below. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. I'm gonna wear it because it matches my outfit. All right. I like these little silk or satin bags. I'm sorry, satin bags. Okay, before I start the topic, I also want to say thank you guys so much. Y'all, it finally came. My YouTube plaque for this channel for getting 100K subscribers. I appreciate you guys. Let me show y'all what it looks like. Thank y'all, because without y'all, this couldn't be possible. So there it is. This is a mirror up here on the play button, so y'all can see my computer. But this is what the award looks like. And it's the silver finish. It's kind of heavy, but it says a sure star goddess for passing 100K. So thank you, YouTube, and thank you, subscribers, for helping me get here. This will be dedicated to you guys, since y'all did, contribute 100%. Oh, on the back, you can hang it. It has like these little grooves. I have my other one for my other channel over there, and I'm just going to sit it right next to it. And I have two. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And they give you this little YouTube letter on a cardstock paper. So if you want to frame this too, you can. But it's just like a little letter from YouTube saying thank you, da, da, da. And then a card for the awards and whatnot. So I was happy to get that in the mail. It was a surprise. My stuff, what do you call it? My plaque. All right. It's dedicated to everyone. Thank you. Okay. So let's begin the topic. So the topic we were going to discuss, because many people have been asking me or asking me questions about the Emerald Tablets, because a lot of you guys ordered this book because, you know, I suggested it, and then I had Billy Carson on the channel, and a lot of you have ordered this book and were reading it and had lots of questions for my point of view. Because of course, you know, the author Billy Carson gives his point of view. And as you know, you can translate or decode things in several different ways. So there's not one right way or wrong way. There are several ways, multiple ways, because it's a multiple dimensional book, multiple dimensional knowledge. I'm getting tongue-tied. So there are layers upon layers of ways to decipher and decode what things mean, you know. So we're going to stick with the symbolic, hermetic, and biblical aspect, since they're both based on the same thing. Thank you. Congrats on the awards. Thank you. Yeah, I'll get into some different stuff towards the end of the video, but I'm going to cover the topic first. Y'all know how we do. So I'm going to be reading from this book and the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. All right. So in the beginning of the Emerald Tablets, there's like these 14 phrases, that Isaac Newton in this book has decoded or interpreted. So I'll just read you some of them. It says first, okay, number 1, 'tis true without error, certain and most true. So this means this is the truth, no doubt. I'm going to decode it my way. This is the truth, no doubt. That which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to do the miracles of one only thing. Okay, so everything is everything, Lauren Hill. If you look up at the sky and then you look under a microscope, you're going to see similar patterns, you know, based on Fibonacci sequence, based on, you know, how the planets are made up, how cells are made up, how the universe is made up. So basically, worlds within worlds. Okay, number 3. And as all things have been and arose from one by the meditation of one, so all things have their birth from one thing by adaptation. So this means, you know, as all things have been and arose from one by the meditation of one, so all things have their birth from this one thing by adaptation. So everything comes from one source. And then it has a source, and then there's a source after that, and then a source after that. But there was one source to begin with. So like, for example, you know, the Big Bang Theory, right? Out of that came what? Stars, planets, all that. Then life on Earth, then animals, you know, then people, you know, and so on and so forth. Number 4, the sun is its father, the moon its mother. The wind hath carried it in its belly. The earth is its nurse. Okay, so to me, this just means like yin yang, opposites are the parents. And then on earth, this is where it's grown and nourished, and life is experienced, you know, via human or animal or whatnot. Y'all like the green? Thank you. Okay, so if you read through these, and interpret them your own way, these are just some of the principles that he's going to be talking about throughout the book and wants you to understand first and foremost. So make sure you read those first. I think it's page 15. It's kind of like the Genesis story, but in more of a hermetic way. Okay. So y'all study that first before y'all read it. That way you understand, like, when he refers to something, it's probably one of those principles. All right, so I wanted to fast forward to the Spaceborn. That's page 87. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, what does it mean by Spaceborn? So I'm going to read you, and Thoth said, okay, and Thoth said, the teacher of men is of all. Okay, Thoth, the teacher of man, is of all. So that means he's of source. Long time ago, I, in my childhood, lay neath the stars on a long buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries far beyond men. Then in my heart grew the great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year, I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way. So he wanted to get out. He wanted to get to the stars until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bounded away. What is travail? Until my soul in great travail. This is where y'all have to break out the dictionary, because most people don't go around using the words travail. I'm thinking it's something bad, right? So sound like murder to me. Painful and laborious effort. So it's painful, engage in a painful effort. Okay, so it's not good. It's like, pain. Finally, his soul broke free from the bondage, bounded away. So then, of course, you have to think about what that means. Free was I from the bondage of earthmen, free from the body I flashed through the night, unlocked at last for me as I was star space. I was free. So that's like astral travel. This is astral traveling. So he was studying how to astral travel, how he can get out into the stars, and he finally did it through astral travel. And now, to the end of space sought I wisdom, or now to the end of space I sought wisdom, far beyond knowledge of infinite man. So, seeking knowledge in your astral travel. When you're awake, you're reading knowledge. When you're asleep and astral traveling, you're also getting knowledge. Now I say this happens to me a lot when I sleep, like right before I wake up, I'm just bombarded with some knowledge sometimes, and I just have to go and research it, and it winds up checking out. So listen to your, if there's something coming through in your dreams, make sure you remember it, or your astral travel, make sure you remember it, because it's probably knowledge that you might need or should have. Right. So, well, in this chapter, the Spaceborn means, well, it's not done. That's just talking about how he astral traveled first. Because, when you astral travel, part of your soul will go up into the astral realm, but there's part of you that are, is still alive. Your spirit is still here. Or, people back in ancient Kemet would call it the ba, the ka. So one is still here while the other one can go and take trips out into the astral realm. So Well, Billy then writes about the Bible reference to Ezekiel, wheels within wheels, the Merkaba, the throne of God, leaving Earth, and getting great knowledge. So a lot of people say UFO, some people say astral travel, some people say it's the same thing. So this is up to you guys to figure out, like, sometimes it's a mental thing. Sometimes it's not a physical thing. Sometimes, people will say, oh, I was abducted by aliens and whatnot. Or did it happen mentally? Did it happen in an astral travel? Did it happen in a remote viewing? Did you transcend into a higher realm of consciousness where you were able to visit with such beings? Right. So I know it's possible because I've done it. So when you transcend to a certain realm, you're not focused on this realm anymore. It's almost like you're in a trance, and you leave this one behind because you're so in a trance that you ascend to the next realm or the next dimension or the next, plane, and you're able to communicate with other beings. So as a child, I used to do that all the time. It's like you literally space out. You just stop paying attention to whatever is around you, and you go into your own little world. And that own little world, then all of a sudden becomes a different plane. So I used to do that all the time when I was a kid. I would just go off into my own world and just be gone. And it wasn't like imagination, because everything that I've read about fourth dimension, different types of beings, things that people, have witnessed or seen or write about, I already saw them. So that's how that's why I'm saying it's true, because I've seen them. And to hear someone explain it in a very similar way, and to experience that as a very young child before you even knew what any of this stuff was, it kind of gives you confirmation. So we know that can be done. Okay. So basically it talks about his astral travel and his journey, blah, 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 blah. Y'all can read about that. It's very interesting. There's lots of code in there. But the purpose that he gives you, there's a purpose. And it talks about it. And I just lost the page because I had it marked off. I need to be using a different bookmark. But I'll find it. Hold on. So it talks about the purpose here, and all men's purpose or whatnot. And I don't want to say like a purpose, like what do you do in life? Okay, here it is. I think I found it. It's chapter 17, Secret of Secrets. It says, now I'm reading at the bottom paragraph right here. I know the light is bright, but I'm reading on the bottom paragraph on page 213. So it says, darkness and light are both one in nature, different only in seeming, for each arose from the source of all. Darkness is disorder, light is order. Darkness transmuted. You know what transmute means? It's an alchemical term. Darkness transmuted is light of the light. This, my children, your purpose in being. Transmutation of darkness to light. Hear ye now of the mysteries of nature. So your purpose is to transmute darkness into light. That is your purpose. The compendium of the Emerald Tablets. So your purpose on earth is to transmute darkness into light. But if you really think about it, America and a lot of the other countries around the world have not been transmuting darkness into light. They have been doing the opposite, and they're trying to trick people into joining them. So, like I said, this can be interpreted in many, many ways. So I'm going to just do a few ways. So darkness, like he said, disorder, light, order. Okay, darkness also could mean, things that lead to destruction, while light is things that lead to creation. Yes. Then, if you take it in every aspect, you can basically interpret it in so many ways. So your purpose is to take disorder and turn it into order. Your purpose is to take that which destroys or death and turn it into life. That's why in the Bible, they said one of the miracles of Jesus was to give life or to bring the dead back from the, into life. So light also represents, light body. Y'all know where I'm going with that. So in the beginning of the book, he also talks about a lot of this stuff, but the fetters he talks about, he says, first, I shall speak of the fetters of darkness. That means chains, like you're bound up by chains. Fetters means chains. The fetters of darkness, which bind ye in chains to the sphere of the earth. That means you cannot leave the earth if you are bound in darkness. And darkness represents chaos, disorder, destructive, beings as well. So you cannot leave if that is what you represent. Also, it says, now ye assemble my children, waiting to hear the secrets of secrets, which shall give ye power to unfold the God-man. Give ye the way to eternal life. So now he's talking about eternal life. Plainly I shall speak of the unveiled mysteries. No dark saying shall I give unto thee. Open thine ears now, my children, hear and obey the words that I give. Then he talks about, I just spoke about the fetters of darkness, and will bind you to the sphere of earth. So now he's telling you, you will be bound to 3D earth, because that's what the sphere is on. You will be bound to 3D earth. Okay, darkness and light are both the same nature. Darkness transmuted is light of the light. This, my children, your purpose in being, transmutation of darkness to light. So the relations of life and earth where it dwells, know ye, are threefold in nature. Physical, astral, and mental is one. So it goes on and on to tell you how to transmute this darkness into light. And y'all can read that. But let me skim through it so I can find what I was looking for. On earth, man is in bondage, bound by space and time to the earth plane. Encircling each planet, a wave of vibration binds him to his planet of unfoldment. Yet within man is the key to releasement. Within man may freedom be found. So, again, telling you that there's something within that can get you out, that you must strive to, that you must transmute. That means change into, that you must change from into. And remember, when in the beginning of this book, he talks about the children of the earth and the children of the sun. So when he says earth man, he's talking about children of earth. You have to understand, when you read any book, they're going to use certain keywords and references so that they're talking to a particular group, not everybody. That's also how the Bible is written. They will separate who they're speaking to in the Bible. And so many people get confused because they don't realize that some of those messages are not to you, or some of that information is not to you. Now, there's two types of darkness. There's two types of darkness. That's why they say darkness of night versus the vast void. There's two differences. There's two types of darkness in the Emerald Tablets. The type of darkness of night is one absent of the sun. The type of darkness that is in the void is from where the sun came, out from the source. The type of darkness of night is that darkness that without the sun. So the sun, of course, children of the sun represent a different type of person. So the darkness of night represents a person, and that is not like the children of the sun. Okay. So what they're saying is, y'all want to break it all down? What they're saying is you need some melanin, like they always do. That's what they say. You need to transmute your darkness into the light, to a light being. You have to become a light body in order to be free from the bondage of 3D Earth. You will be trapped here until you figure that out. There's Donut Earth in here, but actually Taurus, the Taurus energy field. So he also talks about, Thoth also talks about certain words that represent vibrations, and I decoded those words too, but a lot of those words kind of refer to, higher vibrations. So all of this mystery, all of this, has three aspects, physical, spiritual, and mental. So you can break this book down in many ways, but in the physical form, remember your spiritual is your physical, because your energy, when it leaves your physical body, it's still energy. And from waves to particles, back to waves, and back to particles. That is quantum tunneling. That is higher frequency. That is gamma ray. That is, souls that have, transcended from a eumelanated body. So, or children of the sun. Plasma, basically. So it all boils down to science. It all boils down to frequency, because a lot of people say, well, race doesn't exist, but frequency does. And according to your frequency, you will look different in the physical. So a lot of people still are saying, well, it doesn't matter. A soul is a soul. Nope. Some people only have spirits. And it even says that in the Emerald Tablets. It says that your spirit will be bound to the fetters of earth. And then that's why in here he capitalized the word soul. If you read the word soul is always capitalized because it is of the source. And when he writes the word all is also capitalized. So you know that it is from the source. And when he writes his name, Thoth, he writes it all in caps. So you know that it is also from the source. So you can also decode by using what words are in all caps. They're going to mean the same thing or similar thing. Okay. So when you read that, make sure you understand. You said Earth is a school of the gods. Yeah, Earth is a school to figure out how to graduate. Like Kanye West's album, The Graduation, high school dropout, and then it showed him as a little bear leaving the earth, like, pew, because he finally graduated. So, in order to graduate, you have to understand what frequency and how to turn your frequency into a light frequency, how to turn yourself into or transmute your energy into a higher energy in order to pass through. Thank you, Saturn Rising Terra. Thank you for all that you do. Oh, sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you. Appreciate that. And of course, a lot of people are going to read this and interpret in their own way, and that's exactly why you must keep reading it over and over until you see all different ways. Because these tablets are to unlock something within you, a higher consciousness. It's trying to find the source within you to unlock it and to reveal to you all the information, mysteries. And if there is light in you, you will understand it. So you can read this 50,000 million times and still never get the real purpose of it, because you're not able to recognize yourself in, or the light in there. And when I say the light, I mean the frequency, the higher frequency. So I've read this. I didn't get it until like, maybe a year and a half ago. I was saying, if you watch my old videos, I was saying the same thing a lot of you guys are saying, the darkness. Yeah, but there's two types of darknesses in this tablet, in these tablets. One is the darkness on the end of the electromagnetic spectrum, and one is the void, vast darkness of, space, which is not empty, So it's vibrating so fast, it's a something that you can't even see because it's void. Now, the darkness of night is just the absence of the sun and the absence of energy and the absence of frequency, or a lower frequency. So that's why I say it's important to learn science. It's important to learn about the electromagnetic spectrum. It's important to learn about quantum physics, because a lot of this stuff is quantum physics. And if you don't know quantum physics, you won't see that meaning of it. You'll see another meaning of it, but you won't see that meaning of it. And it's the same thing when I watch certain videos. I see the quantum physics in the video that they were relaying. Okay, so it says, know though, hidden in darkness, your soul. And when it's hidden in darkness, he doesn't capitalize the word soul because it's a little soul. It's a blink of a soul. It does not have enough energy to leave. It's not connected to source. So he does not put it in caps when he says, though hidden in darkness, your soul, a spark, not a flame, not a force, but a spark of the true flame exists. Be ye one with the greatest of all lights. Be ye one. That means the same. With the greatest of all lights. And when he says all lights, he's referring to people. Find at the source the end of thy goal. Find at the source the end of thy goal. So basically it means find someone that is a light body. Find at the source the end of thy goal. And so he's saying the light body is the source and the end of your goal. Nothing can ever exist because you are the source, you are the all, if you are the light body. Know ye that in all formed matter, the heart of light always exists. I, even though bound in the darkness, inherent light always exists. So that means even if you are not a light body, not a crystalline being, there's a part of you that is from a crystalline being or a light body. Just like people say, I can trace all my DNA back to Africa. Most people can trace all their DNA back to Africa because they're on Earth. That means you have some of that DNA. You have that spark inside. So the Eve gene has everybody inside of it. And so therefore everybody was a part of that Eve gene. Therefore, they have the spark of the light of the source which came. Because remember in the beginning when we read about how everything that came from the source came from something after that, came from something after that, came from something after that, and then came through the mother. So everyone has a spark, and they must seek to find, the flame. Y'all know what that means. If you have a spark of something and you need to find the flame and become one with it, it means you got to become of a higher frequency, and you yourself have to become a light body if you are not already one. Like, it doesn't say it's something hard to attain. It doesn't say it's impossible. It doesn't say they don't even exist. It says one with the greatest of all lights, and they don't capitalize the word lights except for just the first letter, because that means they're Earth. It's like a name. They wrote it like a name. So it means that you are, there are people walking around who are the light bodies. So then it goes on to say, ye must understand that man is of light, and light is of man. List ye, O men, and hear a mystery stranger than all that lies beneath the sun. Know ye, O man, that all space is filled by worlds within worlds. Okay. Then they said, basically, if you just keep reading, it repeats itself over and over, telling you what you need, what your purpose is, what you must become. Children, follow my teachings. Be ever a seeker of light. Shine in the world of men all around thee, a light on the path that shall shine among men. Follow ye and learn of my magic. Know that all force is thine if thou wilt. Fear not the path that leads to thee knowledge, but rather shun the dark road. Light is thine, O man. So he keeps talking about light. Cast off the chains, cast off the fetters, follow the light. Soul is living in bondage, fettered by fears that hold ye in thrall. Okay, so open your eyes and see the great sunlight. Be not afraid, for all is thine own. So again, he keeps pointing you towards the sun, towards the light, towards the people of the light, towards the children of the sun. Go that way, follow them, come wake up. This is it, And so all through the book, he just keeps repeating this, but also giving tidbits of knowledge, as well, wisdom as well. But never turn thy thoughts to the darkness, and surely ye shall be one with the light. Man is only what he believeth, a brother of darkness or a child of the light. Come through unto the light, my children. Keep saying it over and over. It's so much repetition in this book, but he's saying the same thing over and over. Walk the pathway that leads to the sun. Hark ye now and list to the wisdom. Use thou the word I have given unto thee. Use it, and surely thou shalt find power and wisdom and light to walk in the way. Seek thee and find the key I have given, and ever shall thou be a child of the light. So again, the sun, the light, those are higher frequencies than the night and the darkness. And they are not chained or bound to the three-dimensional earth. So this book is basically telling you over and over. And of course, there are references to different ancient texts as well as biblical texts to say that they're saying the same exact thing, because a lot of the Bible was taken from, ancient texts. So it trying to gives you the same thing Jesus was talking about, and other people before Jesus were saying the same thing that this is saying. You got the keys. Okay. Mhm. So the repetition is to show the reader get the message. That's right, beloved. It does the same thing in the Bible, same thing in the book of Enoch. But it's just you're reading it in different ways. You're reading it with different examples, different people's names, different stories, but it's saying the same exact thing over and over. I think Prince had a song called Joy in Repetition. Prince had a song called Joy in Repetition. And I'm like, you're going to figure out one day if you keep reading it over and over and over, and it says the same thing. So when you see something over and over and over, you focus on what does darkness mean? Why am I bound to it? And how do I get to the light? Like, if you don't know yourself, you won't know you're already a light body if you are, you melanated. You already know that. This is for those who are seeking wisdom, seeking knowledge, maybe in between or searching for something because they long and they're missing something and they feel that there is something that they don't know, or they can't experience something on a certain level or frequency. So they're telling you how to do it. And he says, "List ye, O man, to my wisdom." Okay, and that means, listen to my wisdom. Earthly, it says, "Not of the earth are ye." So now you know who he's talking to. Earthly, but child of the infinite cosmic light. Know ye not, O man of your heritage, know thyself. Once again. And I was just talking about that, and he's talking about it too. Know yourself. Son of the great sun, when ye gain wisdom and truly aware of your kinship with light. Now to ye I give knowledge, freedom to walk in the path I have trod. So that's on page 95 at the bottom of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. That part about knowing yourself, knowing who you are, knowing your kinship to the cosmic light, to the sun, da, da, da. So that means you got to know yourself so you know who to listen to, who is talking to you in these texts, and who's not talking to you, or when you're not being spoken to, or given information to. Because like I said, some information is for one group and other information is to another group. Just like the Bible is written, it's written to different groups. Okay. If you sin, you cannot go. You cannot. If you sin, you cannot sin. That is what people don't want to tell you. Sin is tied to lower chakras because of the vision. Sin represents a lack, or sin represents something totally different. Sin represents the moon, and also it means without. So pale like the moon, and also without melanin. That's what sin means. Like in the Bible, it says you can sin many times and ask God for forgiveness, or seek forgiveness from God or the Lord. But if you keep, sinning, then the Lord will no longer hear you. That's code for you can mix out of your race but mix back in. You can mix out of your race but have your children mix back in. But if you keep mixing out, you're going to lose the connection with Source, and they won't be able to hear your frequency anymore. Your frequency will be too low to even be heard by Source from which you came. So y'all know all the references to, phone. You used to call me on my cell phone, or I can't hear you right now, or pick up the phone. That means you can't communicate anymore because you're too far mixed out. You don't have enough frequency. That's sin. And to be forgiven, how to say, ask the Lord to be forgiven of your sin and follow the Lord and be one with the Lord and come, and accept Jesus Christ as your personal savior and be reborn through the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, that means mix back in. It sounds like DNA and genetics to me. So that's what the word sin actually means. But see, in here, he uses it and he calls it darkness instead of sin. But see, darkness of night. Okay. Down. Okay, so people have asked me about like the Halls of Amenti. The Halls of Amenti, like I imagine it as when you die and your soul leaves your body. Either you are a soul or you only have the spirit. When you go into the Halls of Amenti, you have to go deep beneath the earth's crust to the Halls of Amenti. That's the mantle. That's the fire. That's hot. So your plasma will go in there. Your soul will go in there because it's made of the same stuff kind of as the sun, but not as hot. So if your soul can make it out of there and get activated and then blast up into the ocean, because melanin gets activated by water after it's been heated, it blasts up into the waters of the ocean and then out into the ionosphere and blast through into the space, or to outer space, or to out of 3D Earth, because that means you're spaceborne now. And you can leave because you've been heated, you went through the fire, you've been activated by the water, and now you're spaceborne. So it's kind of like coming out of a, it's almost like, intercourse. Like a sperm being released back into the cosmos, or an egg being released, or however you want to look at it. But basically, you're being reborn into space. Just like you're born onto the earth, you're also reborn back into space. Thank you, Karen. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah, you're also spaceborn. And when you're spaceborn, you're no longer in the physical form. You are in a plasma form. You are gamma ray, whatever. That's why radiation won't bother you, because you are radiation. You are the sun. You are the plasma. You are the source. So nothing like that bothers you, but you're in a different form. Your consciousness is still there. Your awareness is still there. Your particles have now turned into waves of light. And if you want to descend back onto the earth or somewhere else, your waves can turn back into particles at will. So that's quantum physics right there. If you look up quantum tunneling, there are, and this is how they'll tell you in the quantum tunneling example, some particles will not make it, but some will turn into waves and pass through a wall like a ghost and end up on the other side, but some will bounce back and stay. Well, those particles that pass through, because they turn into waves, are of higher frequency, and they are able to get through because they can change forms, because they can change energy. They can activate their energy and go faster. They can vibrate on a certain frequency where they can pass right through, because the law of vibration. Right. When you think about us entering a grand solar minimum, well, the children of the sun, grand solar minimum, radiation, that is probably a plus 5G. I think all of that is, he talks about the purpose. That's the purpose of people on the planet, is to get back to a light body. And that is the wake up call. It's time to get back into the light body. It's time to become crystalline. If you don't know now, you know. That's like the signs in the heavens, will tell you what time it is and what time that you're supposed to be trying to fulfill your purpose. Okay. When you live a life of sin, you don't get to keep your memories. That's the real death. Fear not them who kill the body. Right. That's true. Okay. So, and people who are thinking sin is like doing bad things, it just means literally with the word in Latin, sin, out, without, and also the moon. Without you, melanin, and pale like the moon. Because, people have done horrible things all their life, but that did not stop them from leaving the earth, reincarnating, and coming back. It didn't stop any of the ancestors. It didn't stop a lot of those things. Right. And most of the time, people just don't walk around murdering people unless there's something to be upset or jealous about, or hateful or resentful. I think the first murder in the Bible was, Cain and Abel, and one was jealous because he was getting, he was able to basically manifest faster and get more stuff. So that was jealousy of someone being able to manifest and get more than the other one. And if you look into that story, it's deeper than that. But also, to me, there's several meanings to that story. If you look at it at the literal aspect, it was the jealousy. And the spiritual aspect, you could see they were both in the womb fighting for who was going to come through into the world. They were twins, or they were two different types of genes or DNA, or they were two different sperms or something. They were two different beings fighting to dominate in the womb to be born onto the earth. So, because there is a carving in one of these old churches, and it has Cain and Abel in it. And the way that the carving is done and how it's shaped, it looks like they're in a womb fighting for dominance. So you look deeper into that. You do it you like the way I break stuff down, you do it in a way that is non-belittling to one and uplifting to another. Right. Thank you. The name is Sin, and my middle name is, your name is Sin. Your middle name is something I can't pronounce. Hawaiian for the beautiful wreath made up of the stars. That's nice. Two different seeds, nations, right? Well, nations also, two nations also mean different types of people. So two different types of people. But which DNA was going to dominate? Because I don't know if y'all remember, but I told you guys that, there's recessive genes and dominant genes. So to dominate, what were you going to come out looking like? So that is why I'm like, okay. And he talks about in here that there will be a time where there'll be the brothers of darkness will have a weapon of force that will take half or 1/3 or half or something the people or races off the earth, the races off the earth. So that's what we're doing right now. The coronavirus is taking all these people off earth. And he said a weapon of force. Oh, I just found it. It says, nation shall rise against nation. So that's different types of people against other types of people. Race. Using the dark forces to shatter the earth. Okay, using the dark forces to shatter the earth. Weapons. Okay, to shatter the earth. Okay, weapons of force shall wipe out the earth man until half of the races of men shall be gone. This is in Untitled. So then shall come forth the sons of the morning, children of the sun, and give their edict to the children of men, saying, O men, cease from thy striving against thy brother. Basically, Black Lives Matter or Crystalline Lives Matter. Because when they say your brother, that means someone who is not you, but related to you. Not your literal brother, but of another race. It says, cease thy from striving against brother, and father against son. Then shall the ancient home of my people rise from its place beneath the dark ocean waves. Thank you, Mirror, Mirror, Sprinkle, Sprinkle. I look good and green. Thank you. Thank you so much for teaching and sharing all this knowledge. We appreciate you. Oh, thank you for that generous donation. Thank you, girls. Appreciate that. And so then men cease from their striving. Okay. Then shall the ancient home of my people rise from its place beneath the dark ocean waves. Then shall the age of light be unfolded, with all men seeking the light of the goal. Then shall the brothers of light rule the people. Banished shall be the darkness of light. That's the same thing the Bible says. Nation will rise against nations, basically the Revelations. So that's where we are right now, living in this moment where the sons of the morning are going to give the children of men, saying, cease from striving against each other. Only then you can come to the light. Cease from thy unbelief, O my brother. So when he says, cease from thy own belief, cease from thy unbelief, this is very important because most people aren't walking around thinking that, you melanated people are the light or the light beings or the crystalline beings. They're not walking around thinking they're these, cosmic, light beings. They're not. So that's why it says, cease from thy unbelief. Oh, thus can ye come to the light. Cease from thy unbelief, O my brother, and follow the path and know ye are right. Then shall men cease from their striving, brother against brother and father against son. So they're telling you right here, cease from thy unbelief. That means know who we are. Know who you're, hating. Know who you're striving against. Know that you can't leave here without us. You trapped. And, the longer you stay in this mindset, you will, because there's more weapons, quote unquote, to come, which represent, illnesses, disease. All these things are going to wipe out a lot of people. And that's what's happening right now. It's because a weapon of force, a lot of people thought that was like an atom bomb or something. Thank you, Shona, Sprinkle, Sprinkle. A lot of people think that was a bomb or something, but no, what does force mean? Remember when I told you what the force was? And then they named this COVID, with life, with force, Corona. That's the light around the sun, the crown around the sun, and that's force. What is the sun made out of? Nuclear energy, force, coronavirus. And a lot of people don't even think the coronavirus is real. They think it's just radiation. That's causing, immune systems to go bad, and whatever you got dormant lying around in your body is, whatever illness or whatever is up in your body is just showing itself. And so most people in their life has probably had a flu, an illness that's just being, agitated by all that radiation. And according to the, depending on the weakness of your immune system, you won't be able to handle it. And as the radiation increases, which it will, as the radiation increases, so will, the people that are going to perish. It says, I, the children of men, shall progress onward and upward to the great goal. Children of light shall they become. So eventually they're going to catch on and they were going to become us. You know how they say, oh, you come to earth to ascend into a god. And then in ancient Kemet, they said the gods walked among you. And then in the Bible is when they said, Jesus, why have you forsaken? Where are you at? And I never left you. I'm still here. So it says, children of the light, they shall become. Flame of the flame shall their souls ever be. Knowledge and wisdom shall be man's in the great age, for he shall approach the eternal flame, the source of all wisdom, the place of beginning. That is yet one with the end of all things. So, you know how they said the last shall be first and the first shall be last? Same thing. Thank you, Beyond. Sprinkle, sprinkle. So, silver will help with your immunity, but that's not going to last forever, because it's only going to get stronger. The radiation is going to get stronger and stronger. So, you're going to need the melanin eventually. So may not be super strong in your lifetime, but you might get affected. Your child or your grandchildren they say they will mix back in because they'll have no choice, because there won't be anybody else to procreate with, because a lot of people are just going to not live as long. A lot of people are maybe not be born. A lot of people are going to be infertile. So the only people that are going to really be thriving are those people who can withstand radiation, which are people with melanin. So it says, I, the children of men, shall progress onward and upward to the great goal. Children of light shall they become. So here it is in Thoth, Emerald Tablets. You will become us. You will go onward and upward. And, right. So this is that was page 187. And let's see what chapter that was. Key to above and below. Tablet 11. I think that's tablet 11. Do y'all have any questions? You said Bill Gates wants to try the vaccine on Black people. Yeah, I saw that. It was even on one of the news channels. The vaccine cannot be made without testing Black people. We are the vaccine. You are the vaccine. I had to post on Instagram, and I said the only vaccine you need to give your child, the only vaccine your child should have is melanin. That's the vaccine. That's why they want to test you. That's why they want to test you, because they're trying to get your immunity. Like if you have coronavirus, or if you're withstanding radiation, or if you have released some type of illness in your body and recovered from it due to the radiation, they're trying to get the antibody from you, and so that they can replicate it. But they forgot one thing. Due to radiation, constantly, that's why they say the virus is mutating. Due to radiation and deoxygenation in your cells, your DNA is constantly being mutated, especially if you don't have melanin. Thank you, Imran Sprinkle Sprinkle. Beyonce's new song Black Parade speaks about this and how we are getting closer to the Son of God. What do you think about this? Yes. Thank you for that donation, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Donation. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Or sir. I'm sorry. Sir. Thank you, sir. So, yeah, she says ghost chit-chatting. I think there was a line in there when she was talking about ancestors chit-chat with the ghosts. Ancestors on the wall chit-chat with the ghost. So to me, that's something I spoke about on another video. It's like, when you kill somebody, when someone dies, the ancestors are up there as, the part of the veil, or the gates, the gatekeepers to keep people out and from coming in, or to keep people from leaving that aren't of the light. And so every time someone gets, mistreated and dies in a way, they're telling them, like, they're hanging, they're killing, they're shooting, they're, doing all these bad things. And so that's when, a lot of stuff starts changing in the weather. A lot of stuff starts changing in the frequency. A lot of stuff, gamma rays are starting to come in, um, Earth's shifting, poles, polar shifts. All that stuff starts going down because the ancestors are chit-chatting with the ghosts. And also it's a reference to, the Gospel of Paul, where, when the soul or spirit dies and it tries to get into the heavens, and depending on certain things, it can't get in and it can't get out. And it has to ask people for stuff. And every time someone enters or exits, they beg, will you help us? Read it. It's like, it's very eye-opening. Thank you, Avery. I don't plan on sending my child back to school anytime soon. Homeschool is. What are your thoughts on back to school? Well, my younger daughter wants to stay home and my older daughter wants to go back. So I think it's fine. Whatever you choose. Thank you for the donation, Sprinkle Sprinkle. Is this lollipop plant-based? I probably is. I don't think there's meat in this. You got meat in you? Sugar, corn syrup, palm, citrus, cocoa, artificial colors, soy. Okay. I feel, you said what's going to happen on the winter solstice. So many different things. Like last year, close to that time, there was supposedly a comet headed towards Earth. And the year before that, the same thing. So every time that comet passes, every time, we're passed by a certain cosmic body or celestial body, a lot of times there's radiation that comes with that. It's like, a gift that they drop off, like Santa and his sleigh be dropping off gifts down your chimney. So whenever one of those, the Christmas star, the Christmas comet, whenever they pass by, they drop some radiation, sprinkle, sprinkle. And so we've been having them 3 years in a row. And if you look it up, every year NASA will rename it something else, but it's the same one. And then also when the sky was red a couple of months ago, that was, a lot of the plasma from Venus's kiss, where Venus would pass over the moon and the moon would get some of the plasma from Venus, because Venus doesn't have an atmosphere. It just has, free floating plasma tail. And so some of that got off onto the earth because of the ionosphere. And that's why the sky was red for such a long time. And that also has a lot of, radiation in there. That's when the coronavirus started, when the sky started turning red. So, we're in that part of the Emerald Tablets where Thoth speaks about, um, they will say, "Oh, stop striving against your brother and come become one with the light." So we're at that moment right now. That's why all this stuff is happening, because they're pushing it to that level. Because if they don't, you know, that could be the end of their, genes or their consciousness. That's why they're trying to rush to put consciousness in a robot versus, trying to push the great goal, as folks will call it, the goal. hmm So basically, to all people who are not melanated, Thoth is telling you, okay, well, you might not be able to become one with the light, but you can become your children, you can teach them in the way of the light. You can teach them to become one with the light. So, but yeah, so this means you have to teach your children to procreate and go towards the light beings. That's what you're supposed to become one with. If if it's of their choice, or if they have that option. And I know people are like, huh? That's why it says, cease from thy unbelieving. Cease from your unbelieving, because this is what it is. So people will try to deny, try to say, oh, that's not it. I'm not going for that. There has to be another way. She's crazy, da da da, blah 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 blah. But we already know scientists have been trying to find the answer, trying to find this, and now they need Black people to get, to be part of the study, because they can't find the vaccine without you. You are the vaccine. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. If you cease thy unbelieving and walk towards onward and upward to the great goal, that's what Thoth says, then you too will become one with the light. Or we become, one of them. Yeah, people got to want to help themselves, right? If you have taught your child or your grandchildren, please procreate with a melanated person. Because part of your spirit will be able to come into that body, because it has your DNA, some of your energy from your DNA. You will be able to be in a body with a soul, or you will be able to be in a light body through being reborn through your grandchildren or great grandchildren, probably great or great great grandchildren. So you have to teach your kids in the way of the light, or in the Bible they say you have to follow Christ, and or you have to become one or be reborn through Christ. So you have to teach your children that if you want a chance to come back. Why do you think the Kardashians are all up doing what they're doing? Because they want to come back. So I'm coming back, and this time I don't have to get a spray tan or a butt implant coming through. So some people still have flat butts, honestly, you're supposed to push your children in that direction. That's what time it is. And that's why in the line before, right in the line before, it says, cease thy unbelieving. People have spent years trying to study the Emerald Tablets, and they have done research, and they have spent probably millions of dollars just to figure out they need some melanin, some melanin. I'm like, that's nice. Well, all you did was just need some melanin. You traveled the world, made some type of machine that tries to discover the God particle, but none of that works, because Thoth said it would never work. He said it ain't gonna work. This is it. This is the key. There's the key. What do you think about the concept of melanin? Is it something that you have? It's something you do. Like if you're not using it, you don't have it. Melanin is what makes your skin dark. Pheomelanin is what you have if you have light pink. Like there's a different level of colors of your skin. So pheomelanin would be like white, some Asian, and maybe some like, Hispanic, depending on their DNA. So yeah, brown, tan, black, copper color, that's eumelanated. So if you don't have eumelanin, because it's a higher frequency, it absorbs radiation, it doesn't need, sunblock. That means that you are a light body because you absorb light. You don't reflect light, you absorb it. Therefore, you are a light body. You are a children of the sun because you absorb the sun. It is your food. It is your nutrient. It gives you energy. Okay? So, if you are eumelanated, it's EU and then melanated, then that means you are a crystalline light body. God body, light body, crystalline, however you want to say it. Ascended master. That's after you leave. When you're spaceborn. So, can you be black and not a light body? Unless you're black for another reason, like a disease. Like scabs or something. But no, if you have eumelanin, that's a light body. You don't have to be good to be a light body. You don't have to be perfect to be a light body. It has nothing to do with it. There's people sitting in prison who are light bodies that committed murder. Okay. Instead of American Gods. Do you think they're telling lies about Black people having the most cases of COVID? I think so. I don't think, what I think is happening is, I think that most people that are testing positive for coronavirus, if they say that they are Black people or Hispanic people, it's because they want to test them. They want to get their antibodies. So they go ahead and diagnose them, have them come to the clinic, test them again, keep them at home so they can incubate the illness and come up with the antibody. And then when they get a clean bill of health, they're released and antibody is taken. If they die, it's because their immune system was low because they were eating bad food. And that's it. They weren't healthy and the radiation kicked in and whatever virus was activated within them took them down because they weren't of high immune system. But a lot of people, recover. They don't tell you how many people recover. They just tell you how many people are dying. And then when they tell you how many people died, they was old, like 85. We lost a victim who's 85 years old to COVID. Oh, okay, they was going to die anyway. We already know that. Okay, they actually live longer than most people. So when they're saying people are dying of COVID, they might have COVID when they die, but they probably died because they were old and plus the radiation. So I'm not counting anybody over, I don't count anybody over 55 as a coronavirus death. If you took the statistics and you took everybody over 55 and just scratched them out and said natural causes, then you probably have closer to the real number of people that were actually affected by, the irradiation and the disease because of low immune system and bad health and not taking care of yourself. So I don't count anybody that's old as a coronavirus victim. Okay. And the reason why I say that, and not to be evil, but you take an older person, you put them in the hospital, they could die of pneumonia. That's how my grandma died. She went in for diabetes, died with pneumonia because she caught it in the hospital because your immune system is down when you have diabetes. That's why they say you have underlying health causes. Well, of course you're going to catch a disease and die because you have underlying health causes with no immune system and you're old. So I don't count that. They're just trying to put numbers on top of numbers to scare you. They're just trying to do all of that to lower your immune system because fear lowers your immune system. But if you know thyself and you understand who you are the corona. You are the sun. You are the sun. You are the rain. Like Lionel Richie said, okay? So the coronavirus should not have an effect on you if you walk in the righteous way. That means if you partake in righteous diet. When righteous means, from your own culture, because a lot of stuff that we eat is not from our original culture. We didn't have no ice cream. We didn't have no cheese, and have none of that. We didn't eat that much, sodium and meat back in the days of our ancestors. Nope, we sure didn't. That was introduced here. And that's not what our body was created to ingest. Okay. I'll bring back phase 1. I forgot to restock that. I'll bring it back. No milk from cows. That's right. Like now that I think about what I used to really eat, it's kind of disgusting. Let me see my Etsy store. What? I have to do it on my computer later. I'll do it after this video. So, you could stare at the sun today in St. Croix because it was sand. Oh, wow. The sandstorm. Okay, I'll see if you can restock it on Amazon. But thank y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up. Thank y'all for the 100,000 subscribers and for staying here with me and for understanding and all of that. And everybody who donated, sprinkle. I'll see y'all on the next one. And if y'all have a question, try to leave it in the comments and the permanent comments, and I'll try to answer it if I can. Thank you.